Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and Brad. Welcome in to a very special edition of the Fundamental of the Week. I'm your host, Jay Fahey, or more affectionately known in certain circles as the Prince of Pipe. Nope. And this week's Fundamental, number 13, is be a lifelong learner. The Fundamental reads, work on yourself. Seek out and take advantage of every opportunity to grow your knowledge and improve your skills. Be a relentless learner and be generous in sharing best practices. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Thought this was pretty apropos. Of course, when I reflect on this fundamental, I can't help but consider the current pandemic. Well, who can't, right? But in a way, it's an example of how we never really know what life will throw at us. We never really know what work will throw at us. But accepting challenges as they're presented, rising to that challenge to meet it head on, and then reflecting on what we've learned throughout our experience is really what helps us grow. And hopefully it makes us richer for the experience. That mindset and that attitude, is what makes us lifelong learners. It's not the if these things will happen. It's when these things happen. How do we respond? Well, what do we do? And how we handle it and how we grow from it, I think, is what builds character. In a way, it sort of defines, who we are. But why do we do it, right? What drives us besides a paycheck? Because we at Collins are truly a team. Dare I say, we are a family. And we have risen to challenges before. We've come out of them stronger. We've come out of them smarter. And hopefully we've come out of them more profitable. We've learned from an acquisition or two. We've learned from an ERP system integration. And this year, we can say that for the last 100 years, hopefully, or at least since Brian bought it, we've learned from each other, really, And I think that we understand that to be the best, to be the very best that we can be, we must simply never stop learning, right? Because you're staying hungry and you're constantly growing as a professional, as an individual. And that's what makes our company unique. And it speaks to our tenure and it speaks to our low turnover rate. And, having a couple of guys in the last 3-4 years that have had between 37 and 40 years experience really says something. We're doing something right. And so our affinity for being a lifelong learner, I think, is evident in that. Before I sign off tonight, I wanted to leave you guys with just one thought that I had. I know we talk a lot about the displays of compassion and appreciation for doctors and nurses and servicemen and women, trashmen, mailmen, but specifically I wanted to acknowledge the effort put forth by the Collins Company staff and the willingness to do absolutely whatever it takes, as foreign as that may be, i.e. Zoom, to keep this company running strong and to keep us open and, operating every day has been nothing short of remarkable. So to quote the great Brian Toohey, take a bow, really, because you guys have all met this challenge head on and done what you've needed to, so kudos. The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly was just what I'm seeing in our community, what I'm seeing, in our society a little bit right now, which is, the time that folks are spending with their friends, family, and loved ones. I laugh when I think about how much more often I talk with my friends now, after 5, boss, but via Zoom than I ever did before any of this happened, and it really speaks to that human instinct to want to interact and stay connected with people, and sometimes you never really know what you have until you don't have it, but just the closeness that families are displaying, people out walking and playing with their kids, dads spending more time, with their sons and their daughters. I could speak personally and say that, for no other reason than life often gets a little too busy, that I haven't had the opportunity to spend the time that I have lately with my daughters and experience that closeness. So, we're all in a rush to get back to normal, but I think it's important that before we do, we really ask ourselves what part of normal are we so in a rush to get back to? And then how can we, adapt to our current situation and our future situation? So, yeah, that's pretty much it for me, folks. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy out there, and I hope this provides a little levity in your week. Remember, be a lifelong learner. It pays off in dividends. God bless.